A good half welcomed me, open arms.
Sure.
About 25% welcomed me and said that they will never come into my business. And I said, that's fine.
Sure.
Maybe another 20% kind of just, don't say nothing, just kind of give me stink eye. And then there's a few that have
vocal.
Like one woman that pulled over to yell at my son, which I felt so awful for.
No.
Oh, yes. He came down with my husband. And this is my older son. He's autistic.
Welcome to Creepalachia, and we're putting the creep in Creepalachia today. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess I'm the creep. I don't know. We're talking scary stuff. And we have Heather from Coalfield Manor in Mullins, West Virginia with us. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And we have Bonnie, psychic medium, paranormal investigator from
Moonlight Paranormal Productions in Franklin, Massachusetts.
Perfect. We got Massachusetts in the studio. First Massachusetts residents.
Yep. And it is. And you can say it. I like that. Because I always hear Massachusetts.
Oh, nice.
And it's Massa. Chew, like you would with your food.
Right.
Sits.
Perfect. Yes. That's the first thing. That's the first pronunciation I've gotten correct.
I don't like it back there, though, so it's okay.
I got you. Well, we're going to talk Salem in a little bit, but I want to talk, we're going to talk like small town, satanic panic. We're going to talk haunted funeral homes. What else? Your life.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm an open book. So.
And hubby, right?
Yep. Married.
Bob,
yeah.
Yep, look at that. I know names. And this is going to be a fun episode for y'all paranormal freaks out there. So let's start with you, Heather. Tell me about you. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I was born in Albany, New York, but I only lived there till I was about 4 and moved to Massachusetts with my mom. She remarried my stepdad. Massachusetts my whole life, the city, I could see the Boston skyline out my bedroom window all growing up. Take the bus right into the city if I wanted to, right down from the end of my street. And I'm now living in a smaller town, which I like, but it's not quite small enough. It's still, everybody's in your business and everybody has an opinion on how you should be doing stuff. And while I know that's everywhere, it's legislated up there almost.
Sure, yeah.
In a sense.
I got you.
It's just atrocious. And so I've loved the mountains my whole life. Growing up, my mother would take me up to Vermont every summer, and it was just, cabin on the top of the mountain, gorgeous out in the woods, no telephone, no television, no nothing. And we'd ride horses and just swim in the pond. And that was my life. And I loved it. So it was kind of natural when we started traveling around the country. My husband and I, we had 3 dogs and 2 boys. So the cost of boarding the dogs to go somewhere with the boy, and it seemed so overwhelming that we said, we're just going to buy a camper. And just that way we can just take whatever we want. We don't have to board the dogs. And we can go see the country. And because we're in Massachusetts, the way you travel down to get to most of the country, unless we were going northern, like South Dakota and stuff like that, or Michigan, we always came down through West Virginia. Mm-hmm. So the very first year, that was my very first stop, was we camped over by Fayetteville. And, I wish I could remember the name of the campground. It was a cute little campground, too.
So you got Hawk's Nest, you got...
It was really little. It was like hidden down a little road. It wasn't... I wish I could remember it. Hopefully it'll come to me.
I'll Google while you're talking.
Because it was just a cute little campground. But I'd gone into the Fayetteville Library because my family going back comes from that area. And I've been searching for a burial place for forever. And so in 2017.
For you?
I was looking for my...
I was going to say you're young. What are we talking?
Great grandfather.
Gotcha.
No, I was looking for, because it was my great grandfather that left West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And he went out as a Methodist preacher, met my great grandmother, and then they ended up settling up in Massachusetts.
Oh,
and
cool.
Then that part of the family later moved over to New York. But
the outpost. Well, let's see. They've got the outpost. We got riff rafters.
Riff Rafters.
There
That
we
was
go.
them. We had so much fun. It was just a cute little campground. It was the first place we ever stayed in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I went down the women in the Fayetteville library in the genealogy department were lovely. And they got me, they had the records of, some, I guess 2 gentlemen had been out in the woods for years, taking pictures and documenting all these little cemeteries all over the place.
Heck
And so
yeah.
I found him in there, found where it was. And I dropped my husband and kids off at the Ace Adventure at the, the inflatable.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the car and I went down to go find this cemetery. And I found out later I was right there. But I get there and I'm like all freaked out because I'd met a guy going up the hill.
Right.
And he was coming down on his 4-wheeler and I was like, hey, I'm looking for this cemetery. And I told him, the family name. And I told him, he's like, oh yeah, it's right up there. No big deal. He said, just watch out for the snakes and the other. And I'm just like, we don't do poison in Massachusetts except for the people. The people are the only poisonous thing up there. So I was like, okay. And I'm in my sandals. I left my boom boom at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh no. And I have no cell signal. My husband had no idea where I was going. He has no car where he is. I'm like, and I'm about to just walk off into the woods.
Oh, boom, boom. You mean gun?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is bad. This is bad. And I'm all freaked out. Come to find out, if I had gone maybe 30 more yards, I would have seen the headstones poking out around the corner.
Mm.
But I got back in my truck and I left and picked up my husband and was, I pouted for quite a few years. And I finally found them though last summer. Because when we, of course, moving down here, I think it's a requirement. We had to buy a side-by-side. Because where we are, we're only 2.5 miles from the trailhead. So
right.
We're like, well, I guess that's a requirement. So we got a side-by-side. So we drove up on that. My husband drove me up and I found last summer, I found the headstones I was looking for.
How beautiful.
So
that's one of my favorite things to do that I don't know how everyone feels about it, but it's so peaceful walking through cemeteries. It's like everyone's just listening.
Yep.
I
love cemeteries. They are very peaceful. I find them very quiet because I feel like some people are like, oh, cemeteries are creepy. They got to be haunted. Well, they could be haunted, but they're not necessarily. And I feel more like if your loved one is at the cemetery, they're there because you're there visiting.
Sure.
Right. Because I think we go back to the people, places, and things that we loved in life. Well, I'm not going to care about my decaying corpse after I go. I'm not using it anymore. I'm going to care about my boys and my family, and so that's where I'm going to go. And I've got a list of people I'm haunting too. So.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Oh, it's a long list.
Yeah.
But,
Oh boy.
Well, so we hooked you down here in the hills, and eventually you ended up in a town called Mullens, spelled with an E.
Yes.
Don't get it wrong, people. People will throw down over the spelling of Mullins in this state. But how did you end up there?
Zillow. So some people doom scroll on TikTok. I doom scrolled on Zillow because I have mentally been checked out of Massachusetts for a long time now. Where are we going to go to die? And that's what my husband had been looking for since 2017, every summer.
Right.
South Dakota, Missouri, we did the Ozarks, the Black Hills. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. But this was my place. This was it. And it felt, so when growing up, I was the only Riston in the state of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to tell people, go ahead, look in the phone book. There isn't even one because I was too young to have a landline of my own at that time. I'm the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sad and it bothered me. And then my family, my Ristons that were in the Albany area, there were only a very few, my sister, my older sister's in Maine, my younger sister, she's in Louisiana now. But she, they were in Albany growing up, and my grandparents, both my dad's and my mom's parents from Albany. So they were out there, but it was just them, just that immediate family. Like I didn't know other than my aunt out in Minneapolis. I knew of her, but I met her once when I was 2 And then I met her once again when I went to go see the Black Hills. So twice in my 52 years on this earth, I've met her. So, but I knew West Virginia was it. So I would doom scroll on Zillow and I would keyword search, always keyword search everywhere. Funeral, doctor, asylum, morgue. It didn't matter. I threw the keywords in there to see what I could come up with. Cause
you wanted to start.
I was looking paranormally.
Gotcha.
Just for fun, just to doom scrolling. You know, I'd once found one in Pittsburgh, which I'm so glad now, obviously. My husband was like, you can't do that. He goes, it's a 9-hour drive. We're not buying you an old funeral home. It's a 9-hour drive. So now we're a 12-hour drive.
Right.
But we're talking Pittsburgh and we're talking beautiful motorcycle roads and just, you just can't compare.
Sure.
And I haven't met a bad person yet. So.
Heck yeah. Well, welcome. And we're going to talk about that more in detail. I want to get into some backstory of Bonnie here. How did you all meet?
We met through a paranormal investigating team. She was already associated with them, and
Right.
I had reached out because I was looking to get involved. I'd always been in it, but I was looking to really get involved with the team and go out and just get into more places and learn a lot of the equipment. Because I was very metaphysical in my paranormal research before that. Up to that point, I had no idea how any equipment worked or any of that. So I hooked up with him, and then I just luckily met Bonnie, teamed up with her on a couple investigations, and we just clicked. And it sticked, and we're no longer with that team, but we are with each other.
Running around. Let's go. All right, Bonnie, tell me about yourself.
Oh, boy. That's a long story.
Swing that mic right next to you, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
It's a long story. I'm not used to this equipment.
Oh, you're great.
Yeah. So let me see. I was born in Michigan, actually. I don't remember Michigan at all. I was only there till I was 18 months. Then I was adopted. My parents, my dad was in the Army Corps of Engineers. So we traveled everywhere. So I only spent like 18 months in Michigan, and then we moved to Europe. My mother's family was from Europe, so we spent some time there. Then my dad got back stateside, and we had to travel around. We went to Huntington, West Virginia.
Let's go.
Yeah. So by then I was about 3, I think.
Go herd.
Yeah. So we moved into Huntington, West Virginia. We stayed there for quite a time, maybe 2 or 3 years. We adopted my brother there. So he's born and bred there. And we have nothing in common whatsoever. We're very two different people. But we traveled everywhere. We just grew up traveling all over the place. We had a new school every year. Like, that's how much we traveled. Just packed up stuff and go. We moved to Massachusetts. That was the last place, our last move, actually, for both of my parents, was to Massachusetts. And we'd been there. We lived in Sudbury. We lived in parts of Rhode Island. But we kept coming back to Massachusetts for some reason. I think it was more my dad. And so we since 1975, we lived in Massachusetts. We just started coming out this way because of what Heather has been doing there with the Coalfield Manor project. And, I've always been involved in the paranormal. I was born with all kinds of weird idiosyncrasies, things that would happen that I didn't understand, what have you, from a very young age, and was always interested in trying to understand, the paranormal and what is paranormal versus are you crazy? And realize that, no, I'm not crazy. And the things that we experience are to be explained, but we're still looking for ways to explain it.
Sure.
We met at that with that paranormal team, and I had some ideas of my own to do some projects, and always wanted to get into film, and always wanted to write a book. 2 things which I've never done.
Heck yeah.
Hey, trial by fire.
Shoot you.
So yeah, I just did that, and I keep coming back out here, and I can't even tell you why. I just like it so much. I'm looking for a house out here, like Massachusetts. I'm done with anyway.
Come on down.
She actually met with a realtor the other day
I
to
did.
look at 2 houses, just to
physically
kind of see
looking at
what
houses.
it's about.
Yeah.
And we went down to
Yeah.
the town hall so she could talk to them and just ask.
Yeah,
you know,
I got
some
my brother
questions.
talking about coming out here himself.
Well, listen, we need people.
Oh, yeah.
Bring them.
That's what they all tell me. He's like, bring some more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've already told my husband, because he says we'll move in 10 years. I'll retire in 10 years. I'm going to retire and we'll move. And he's been saying this since 2017. So that 10 years is still 10 years
Right.
from now. And I'm like, okay. So, and I get it. Like he is a dog the way he works. Like he's just an animal, and he goes from sun up to sundown every day.
Mhm.
And sometimes more. Like with all the snow, I felt so bad for him. He only got 3 hours of sleep the other night because he also plows. But
On the farm?
no, the snow.
Oh, okay.
No,
Gotcha. Okay.
we
yeah,
have residential
makes sense.
customers, so he can't really. It's hard for him to get away in the winter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but he keeps saying, yeah, 10 years. And I'm like, well, it's been 10 years for the past 9 years. So we've got my youngest son he'll be 17 this spring. He's got 2 more years left of school.
Mm-hmm.
And, I said to my husband, I'm like, it would be nice if I could have my business open year round. I will not take him out of the school he's in right now because he's had a lot of struggles. And he's in a small private school, and I'm like, just don't rock the boat. 2 more years. We're just holding on tight.
Mm-hmm.
But when he graduates, I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to go. I'm going permanently. Like this year, I'll be down here for 6 months. So right now I'm doing half and half, part-time, but I want to make it a full-time thing. Like I don't want to ever have to go back because driving home is depressing. So
Lots of Massachusetts love up in the studio today.
Well,
You don't have to say you hate every other state in West Virginia. I'm just telling you.
no, I love. I loved Arkansas. Arkansas stayed down in Eureka Springs. That
Nice.
was beautiful.
Yeah,
But it didn't quite have the I was looking for.
sure.
So, and like I said, here because we've been all over, we stayed in, just this last time we stayed in Harper's Ferry, which actually is my least favorite area that I've
Lots
stayed
of
in.
spirits up
Lots
there.
of history.
Yeah, I mean, and I enjoyed Harper's Ferry, like the history of it and walking around, but this is going to burn me. I know. I didn't like some of the people. It's a DC weekender place.
Mhm.
Like it's very much just like home with a lot of the attitude I was greeted with. And it was shocking to me. like, okay, not up here again. It wasn't the same as when we stayed in Fayetteville or Matewan or, all over the place. And,
And
in
I'm sure
Flatwoods.
there's good people in Harper's Ferry too, but I get what you're
There's
saying.
good
It's a
people
vacation
everywhere.
spot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have friends back home in Massachusetts too. It's not like it's a bad,
Sure.
it's not like everybody's bad, but no, not at all. I mean, some of our blue collar guys up there in Massachusetts, we have a term for it. I know you are family friendly.
Say it. I'll beep it.
It's a mass hole.
Mass hole. Got it.
Yes. So that's what we wear that badge proudly. It's people like to call us out like it's an insult, and I'm like, yeah.
That's literally the first time I've heard that. I love it.
It suits us because we're not, we're just not delicate with our speech, and a lot of times people think that we're mean and jerks, and it's like, no, we're just short and don't have time for anything, and we got to get going and just get out of my way.
Yeah, small world. I have a Massachusetts friend I've been helping trying to figure out how her uncles died in Welch.
Oh,
So she's got heavy accent. So and with you all, how you don't. I can kind of
she
hear it
closer
with
to
you,
Rhode
Heather, a little
Island?
bit, but
is she
I don't
closer
know.
to the Rhode Island area?
I can't remember exactly which area she's in, but she's got like heavy, thick Boston accent.
She's probably South Shore.
Mhm.
All of our South Shore sounds like that, like what Boston was. Rhode Islanders have a stronger Boston accent than you really got to go into Southie to get the what's left of the real Boston accent.
I love it. Like I'm an accent person because I have one. and I wear it proudly, and I don't care who
Yeah.
doesn't like it, and I feel that people from Boston probably get that same kind of thing when they go places, so I think we can relate there.
Yeah, you just can't judge it by the movies.
Yeah.
Because none of them can talk it. Even I'm so sorry to say, even the Boston boys.
Even Jeremy Renner in The Town?
They sound, I haven't seen The Town,
okay,
so I don't know, but but Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and, Mark Wahlberg and all of them.
Right.
When they do it, and it's like, they grew it. You know what I mean? They grew up, especially the Wahlbergs. Like they grew up in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just because they've been removed so much. So going back, they're trying to put it back on or something. I don't know, but it's like it sounds funny even in the movies, even from the legit Boston boys.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's that. The Appalachia gets that too. I mean, I love hearing people try to do hillbilly, and it's like, man, that's really an emphasized hillbilly.
Yeah,
I
can't do it. One of the kids that my son made friends with last summer, he had asked me. He's like, can you do a Southern accent? Because they were trying to talk like me,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, can you do a Southern accent? And I'm like, I can only do it in the cheesiest way.
Right.
In the, and it's just.
I can perfectly describe it. So you see someone play a banjo that's just so good at it. Well, you combine that with your mouth and you just let it fly. Like I'll say it's letting the banjo pick. When you just start, eventually you'll just start making sounds, and it's like music to your ears if you get pissed off enough. But that's I love the accent. So much.
I love the banjos and stuff. So it's,
that's kind of how I describe it. But if someone else has put it in the comments how to do an appropriate accent. But we have different accents too across West Virginia. So it's weird how these things work. Like if I was to talk to someone from Great Britain, they can't tell the difference between me and you or someone, in heavy Boston, or they just can't tell. Mm-hmm. And that always blows my mind. It's like, you can't tell. But then they're like, we have accents too, and I can't tell the difference between those.
You can hear it in some of them. They've got to be the real, and it's almost like Youngblood, wherever
mm-hmm.
he's from. That like that Peaky Blinders accent is not the same as the London accent. Like it's so distinct. Mm-hmm. And I love it. It makes me happy. But
well, heck yeah. Sometimes I have episodes like, I love all the episodes we do, but paranormal ones specifically are like, I'm walking into my grandma's house and smelling biscuits and gravy, and I just feel like I'm at home. So I appreciate y'all coming in and sharing this. So Bonnie, when did you first start seeing things? Like, when did you start noticing something was different?
I'd probably have to say about 2 years old. I remember a lady sitting next to my bed. I don't know who she was, but she was all like in white, dressed in white. She glowing sort of person. I always thought she was my guardian angel, but I saw her until I was probably 11 or 12, I think. Yeah, probably about 12 years old. Then I started seeing apparitions. Like coming out of my closet when we lived in Connecticut, which is a very haunted area as well. Like New England is just crawling with all kinds of spirits.
Oh,
but we had, I think I was about that age, about 12. I had somebody come out of my closet in the middle of the night and ask me a question, scared the living daylights out of me. Didn't understand what was going on. I was screaming for my mom and nothing was going out my mouth at all. I was like, oh my gosh. But I had stuff like that happening all the time. Saw a little boy with blonde hair running past the front window of our house, and I'd run outside to go catch him, and he wasn't there. My mother saw him too. So I had a lot of experiences like that. And then the older I got, the more experience I had, the more complex the experiences were. Until recently, the project that we're working on right now is about a haunting in Tewksbury Public Library in Tewksbury, Mass. And that, as far as mediumship and all that, because I could do that stuff, but I never got into it until later in my life when people were like, you should do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So they talked me into just going ahead and doing it for, doing readings for people and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's downplaying herself. She's good.
The stuff that I do is not, I don't mean to do it. It just like kind of happens. And the last time I did, when we're doing the investigations, we do the Estes sessions. And I never thought much about them. I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. And when you get real time responses and things like that, when you do that, it got my blood going. But the last time I did it was at that library, and I had the craziest experience I've ever had doing anything like that. And I don't even have the words to describe it. It's kind of like the spirits or energy or whatever it was kind of grabbed me up and put me in their time space.
Mm-hmm.
So I was no longer in the library. I was somewhere else and witnessing something. They showed me something complete with sounds and everything, like it was happening right there in front of me. And I'd never had that before, ever. So much so that we're going to write a book about it now because it was just weird.
The best part is she went to the state archives, and this person that she connected with, we found him in the state archives. We got the right age. We had everything.
We were
able to corroborate.
Yeah,
interesting.
Everything she found. So
I need a little more details. Where were you sitting? Like, what was the room like? Was it low lit? Was it just a normal room?
It was like the archives, the second floor of the library. It was a very nice modern library. It's only about 20 years old. I think the building's only 20 years old. The land on it, the land that it sits on, however, of course, land is very old, is the old estate for the state hospital, Tewksbury State Hospital, and their almshouse that was there before that. And it's about a 700-acre piece of land. And the library is just built on part of that land. I forgot the question.
No, yeah, that's great. Describing the place that it was in, that makes sense.
Oh, the library. Yes, it was the archives, second floor of the library. I was sitting on one side of the library. They, the two people I was with, Becky and Al, who are investigators that work with us too, were on the opposite side of the library. I was just sitting at a table and a chair, and then all of a sudden I wasn't at the table or the chair. I was outside.
And for those who don't know the Estes method, you put on noise canceling headphones, blindfold yourself, and then you listen to a spirit box as someone else asks questions. So you had the headphones on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is fun. I mean, it's fun to me. I don't know. It may have been terrifying for you. I don't know. Are you what is your feeling on it now? Like just having these experiences?
Just trying to understand it. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I just get surprised by, new stuff that keeps happening, like this particular experience. Being on the Phasma box, I know what it sounds like. I know what to expect from it. When I'm listening for spirit voice, I recognize it when I hear it. But that spirit box was not, I thought there was something wrong with it actually during that session. That I even took my headphones off and said, I don't think this is working. And Becky, who knows me pretty well, says, put those headphones back on and, get to it. So I did, but the sounds that I was hearing had nothing to do with the Phasma box at all. The Phasma box does not make those kind of sounds. And they were very real sounds, like very loud, very real. And then all of a sudden I was outside and hearing the same stuff out of the box, but then hearing a lot more. And it was all voices, people screaming, people running, people in panic. There had been an explosion and a huge fire. And I was sitting right outside and could feel the heat from it. And people like running past me and pulling out heavy debris, trying to do rescue and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there with all this rushing around going on, going, what the heck? Where am I? Like, what? Oh my God. And there were two little boy spirits with me. The younger one wanted me to see this scene. And the other boy was a little bit older. And he's the one that Heather's talking about the one that I connected with, the one that told me his name, how old he was. And the two boys were like sharing their space with me. The little boy was showing us something that had happened before the older boy had even arrived there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know this at all until I started doing the research. That night I got home. I couldn't get that experience out of my head. I sat down in front of the computer and I looked up Billy, looked up in the archives the information and found out he was a real person. He was the only 11-year-old in the death records that I could find. And his name was William. Billy.
Interesting.
Yeah. The same age and everything. So I started looking into it even further. I found his father, his mother, his sister, his little baby brother. His parents were from Maryland. They were African-American, Black, may have been part of the railroad, the Underground Railroad, trying to get up north.
Mm-hmm.
And finally they did. And then what happened was little Billy eventually was a resident at the almshouse right there in Tewksbury.
Oh, wow.
On the grounds. And that was the connection that we made that connection. He was at one almshouse and was transferred to Tewksbury. And so here we were coming in to do this impromptu investigation after I saw Jeff Belanger doing stories. It was around Christmas time during COVID. And the museum director was like, "Oh yeah, we think our library's haunted." And I'm typing in, I'm like, "Oh really? Well, we're a group. We'd love to come and he goes, "Oh, that would be great. Call me after the show."
Yeah.
That's how that started. But we had no idea it was going to end up being this whole story about this little boy and his family and all the hell they went through.
Sure.
And all of that just put it all together. And it seemed like, there was some crucial points in the ST session. We made recording of it. We're going to put it in the film, where you can actually hear the little voices, like through me, answering questions in real time. Like, "Billy, how old are you?" And he goes, 11, just like that. Like, I didn't remember half of what happened until after I spoke with Becky and Al after, and they're like, "Oh my God, do you have any idea what just happened?" I'm like, "No, I'm still trying to." I just came in from outside. I don't know what's going on.
She blanks out when she does a lot of her mediumship. She'll come out and be like, "What happened?"
Oh yeah, go hard or go home.
Yeah, I guess so.
And some people listen, there's a sure percentage that's like, "What the heck I'm listening to? He's crazy." But I love it so much because it actually gives me hope, and you never really know. Like, you kind of like, well, for me, for instance, now you've had this since you were little, but you get into it like, "Oh, this will be fun." I like horror movies. I want to go, and I like history, and I like all these different things. And then it takes one thing to happen, and you're like, that was different, for normies like me. And which mine was at Trans-Allegheny.
You went to the Mecca.
Yeah. I mean, that's and that there's a reason it's one of the most visited paranormal locations out there, because stuff just happens at this place. But also too, Appalachia, I feel like, is the most haunted place in the world, just because, if there's one thing we're good at, it's desecrating burial graves. And, like, we just knock up burial mounds and don't even care, put up a building. All this stuff that's undocumented, I think it just stirs up all this history. And you got the Civil War, and you got, the mine wars, and you got all these different things that happen in the hills. And I just, maybe I'm partial. I definitely am, because I live here, but I just love it.
Mine wars are fascinating.
Oh, it's a lot.
Absolutely fascinating.
So what'd you get into all this for, Heather? Like, what's your backstory?
Well, my first paranormal experience, I was 14. I was at a friend's house, and it was just a random, we were all dressing up all goth-like and, doing a photo shoot, and she had a nice camera, and we were just playing, thinking we were all hot. And, she needed batteries for her flash. So we went into her sister's room. Her sister wasn't home, and she's got it's an old house, and there's just no like switches on the wall. So you had to walk into the room to turn the light on. So you open the door, completely black. I stayed like at the door frame because I didn't know, I'm not walking into a dark room. I barely walk anyway. So she took maybe 2 steps into the room, and we heard a growl, and she stopped. And then we had this big rush of wind go past both of us. And we were like, we don't need the batteries.
Mhm.
We're good. We shut the door, and we went back to her room, and we found something else to do. But shortly after that, we heard her father screaming at us because they're a household that they always used the back door that came into the kitchen, and, their driveway, you park down there, and their front door just stayed bolted and locked all the time. No, but they didn't even use the front stairs in that front little hallway. It was just her sister would come up the back way, and she'd have to go out little ways into that hallway to get into her bedroom. That was it.
Mhm.
But nobody went down the stairs to use that door. Her father, I guess, had gone out, and the front door was wide open. So he's yelling at us about leaving the front door open. And we're like, yeah, we didn't do that. So that's where it started. And I had some experiences here and there. It wasn't until my dad passed away when I was 22. Like that's when the grief the grief hit me, and it was bad because it was sudden. Nobody was expecting anything. He unfortunately was a drinker, and he did for most of his life, had massive seizure. And the doctor said, listen, if you start drinking again, you're going to die. And for 2 days, he was in the hospital after the seizure, didn't know who he was. My stepmother and my little sister went to visit him, didn't recognize his own daughter. Just said that, he commented because she's got the ginger hair like he does. So he just commented, he's like, oh, you're a beautiful little girl. Your parents must be proud of you. And she was like 16, but anyways, or 14. But my grandfather died like 2 or 3 years later. And my dad had been sober for that time. He had, after his seizure, he had gotten himself cleaned up and was doing great. And he couldn't take it when my grandfather died New Year's Eve, technically 1995. And by January 26th, my dad was dead. So it was he just had started drinking. And I remember I went out to go see him the last night I spent with him, because the services and everything were all out in Albany. So I was staying at my dad's, when I went out for my grandfather's service, and not that we wanted to really be there, but my grandmother was still alive. So it was more for her that we went, because he was a bit of a pedophile and we didn't particularly like him, and I didn't mind that he was dead. But my dad, it hit my dad hard. It hit my grandmother hard. So we went, and he was drinking bad. I mean, we were up trying to go to sleep one night. He kept me up. He had the music blasting. He's like, here, I smoked at the time. He's like, go ahead and smoke. I'm like, I don't smoke in your house, Dad. Nima doesn't like it. Kathy doesn't like it. And, and he's like, it's fine. This is my house. He was off his rocker.
Sure.
And I remember I had brought him, we were talking music because he was a musician. I can't string 2 notes together. But this boy, we actually, Johnny Be Good was actually the eulogy. My aunt just read.
Oh, nice.
Read Chuck Berry's lyrics because it was my dad. He couldn't read music. But he was, he was that guy with the guitar. He was just amazing. And we were up talking about music, and Pulp Fiction had come out. And they had a banger soundtrack for Pulp Fiction. So I brought the CD with me, and there we are. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I just wanted to go to bed. I was so tired. This is the last night I ever spent with my dad. He was completely off his rocker, and we're twisting and we're hit checking each other across the living room. And I'm just like, Dad, I gotta go to sleep. I'm going home tomorrow. And like, now I wish that, you know what I mean? I wish that night had lasted longer, but, that was it. I went home, and then I got a call, a couple weeks later, my poor stepmother's like, I got a call again, because she had called about my grandfather, and then she was calling, and my stepmother's a lovely woman.
Yeah.
So she's still dear to me. So even long after my dad's gone and she's remarried and done other stuff, but she's always kept close with us. And she's my heart.
Yeah, well, sorry for your loss.
Well, it's what started it, really, though. Like, it was awful. He did it to himself. I was angry. Like, I was angry after he died. I wasn't necessarily so much sad.
Mhm.
I mean, I was, but I was mad because he did that to himself. That doctor told him, if you start drinking again, you're going to die. And that's exactly what happened. So, I have this weird way of thinking about it. And I'm still not completely, it's been 30 years now, and I'm still, I'm sad, I'm angry, I think of him and I'm joyful, or it's still like that. But I've been told he ghost hunts with me. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And I know we know he's been around. He leaves guitar picks places.
Oh, wow.
So between, his wife is out in Albany. One of his daughters is in Lake George. Another daughter is in Louisiana. Another one's in Massachusetts and here. And, and he gets around. So we know when he's seeing people.
This is the hope I'm talking about. Like, I love hearing stuff like that.
The paranormal has made me, I'm afraid of how I might die and when I might die, but I'm not afraid of dying, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be painful and I don't want it to be soon, but I'm not afraid to die. I'm so curious.
Sure. Well, I just keep telling myself over and over, like, well, the body has, cultivated itself. And people feel free to believe however they want. I love the fact when religion makes someone's life beautiful and makes them a good person. I absolutely love the fact. I've said many times I'm agnostic, but I appreciate belief systems. And I just look at it like, well, the body's going to release a lot of DMT when I'm about to die. So the body's figured out how to die properly, if that makes sense. Of course, you don't want to be ate by a shark. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, I got to stop having this conversation. Eventually you just got to be okay and live that day,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And in doing that, eventually we'll kind of set this up. So, and I'm going to play devil's advocate with this conversation because I know my people. And eventually you find a place in Mullens, West Virginia, and you say, hey, this would be a good place to do what we've been wanting to do. Mm-hmm. And that happened to be, go ahead and set up what that place was.
Yeah, so it was, before I purchased it, it was the Tankersley Funeral Home. It was, just a small local funeral home. Well, not really small, it was a big funeral home, but it had been bought out by a conglomerate in Georgia. So they weren't doing anything with it. My guessing is that they have their nationwide funeral chain. I'm like, they've got to have a place up in Beckley or in Charleston or something. And like most big conglomerates do, they just go around and buy people out and shut them down. So they'll eventually have no choice but to go to their big box store.
Mm-hmm. And it's been shut down a little over a year, right?
It was about a year.
Yeah.
But we could tell because we had all even after we bought it, they had left a lot of stuff in there, and I had one of those floor copiers that's like this tall, and this big thing that you rent monthly, and they were still paying a lease on it, and they're like, "Can we come down and get that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's been here for a year. You guys have been paying for it for a year, and it's just been sitting here." I'm like, absolutely, take it. They wanted the printing machine, there's an old printing press there. They had wanted that. And I can honestly say I was a little petty and refused to give that back because they were going to just donate it to a museum. And it's not like it was a personal thing for them that they, it was my dad's or something, you know what I mean? If it was something like that, I'd have a whole different outlook on it. But I said no, because we actually want to bring it out into the front, so for people to see it, because it's fully intact.
Part of the building.
The rollers are broken down, like the leather rollers or rubber. I don't even know what they're made out of. The rollers that go up over the plate, need to be replaced, but the thing, it turns like butter.
Oh, wow.
It's and then the whole kit with all the letters and everything. So we want it. It's in the back room now because obviously they didn't, it was a back room deal for them during the funeral home. And then
did they use it to make like programs and stuff?
yes,
Wow.
back before they went digital. So I guess it was the Mullens. There was a newspaper Mullens. I cannot remember the name of it, so you'll have to forgive me. Because I was curious about the background of where it came from, and the man who owned it, he's no longer with us, but or with them, I should say. I've never even met him. He worked at the newspaper, and that's how he printed the old newspaper. Okay. And then when the newspaper,
this is a pretty big machine.
Oh, it's the old with the big wheel, that you spin. And
I filmed one of those in Welch, and it's massive.
Yeah. Oh, I can't move it on my own. Like when we bring it out, and there's certain parts of the building we probably shouldn't put it over there because that's a wood floor with cement over there. Let's put it on. But I mean, it is gorgeous. But so he made the Mullins newspaper. That's what he did. And then the newspaper went out of business and he didn't have any place to put it.
Okay.
So he had made a deal with whomever the funeral director was at the time. He said, can I, do you have space that I could store this with you? And they said, sure. Will you print our programs for us and print our memorial cards and stuff? And he's like, yep. So that was the deal. He got free storage, but he went down and did a little work for them.
Was it the Mullins Advocate?
I think so. But I'm so new. I'm just barely a year into being here, and I haven't been here. It was only here for a few months, so I'm still learning.
Let's talk about that. So, new people in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, I came in with a bang.
And I want to clarify. Like, I don't want to act like that everyone was upset. There's a small percentage that got upset because they essentially felt like the funeral home was being taken over and commercialized and used,
like I'm exploiting
and
their
disrespect.
Dead.
Yes,
absolutely.
But so and there were other people that welcomed you, I'm sure.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah, I would say a good half welcomed me open arms.
Sure.
About 25% welcomed me and said that they will never come into my business, and I said that's fine.
Sure.
Maybe another 20%. Kind of just, don't say nothing, just kind of give me stink eye. And then there's a few that have
vocal.
Like one woman that pulled over to yell at my son, which I felt so awful for.
No.
Oh, yes. He came down with my husband. Now, this is not my younger son who's been staying here with me when he comes down. This is my older son. He's autistic. He's got, he's high function. He's in college. He's doing good. But, his social interactions are difficult with him. And he was literally dragging a mattress down the sidewalk to put it in the dumpster that my husband had rented. And a woman very kindly took the time to pull over, roll down her window, and yell at my son for my business. And he has not been back since. So whoever you are in that little red car, because I wasn't here for it.
Come on, people. We got to do better than that. And he's got autism.
He's got autism. So he didn't take it very well. And it hurt me because he's like, when I said, well, what did she say? He's like, well, I could only understand half of it. Cause I'm like, well, yeah, if she's yelling at you with the accent, I can get it. Cause you need to talk very direct to him and make sure that he's,
right.
So I'm like, yeah, you probably couldn't understand her that well. He said, she's just some uptight conservative yelling at me. And I'm like, buddy, don't think of it that way. And that makes me, because I'm like, I'm a conservative. Don't, sure. Like, come on, bud. I'm like, it's not. And I hate to have, and while we are not religious in my house, I just don't want him to look at anybody mean like that. And they were yelling, and I can take it. I've been through it, and I know what I do, and I know how, what some of the stuff that I do. I know how it looks to some people. And it is a sensitive subject for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. And there's, debating is welcomed and fine. There's a different line that you cross when you just just get up in someone's grill and they have no clue who you are.
It came to a head. That woman in the car was a one-time deal with my son. It came to a head when, I had asked because I found out the Dogwood Festival was in town.
That's when I learned of you.
Yes. That's when everybody learned of me.
Something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the town supported you opening the business.
Oh, yeah. They were excited that
the Dogwood Festival came, and were you sponsoring it, or I can't remember.
I donated. So I had reached out to them because I wanted to do like a meet and greet. Inside my building. I didn't want, and she's like, well, it's your building. You can do whatever you want. I'm like, no, I get that. But it's your festival and I'm capitalizing on your crowd, right? To get to know me. And while I don't need she's like, but you don't need to pay because you're not getting a vendor spot. I'm like, I understand that, but I'm still capitalizing on your event here. And so I did make a donation. I made another donation for the event this year because there was a little bit of a mix up in planning this year, but, I sent them a donation. I said, listen, I want to advertise. So I'm going to put an advertisement on my door and I'd like you to advertise in your schedule when I'm going to do these little meet and greets, one on Friday and one on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And so I donate, we're not looking for a free ride or just,
that's great. Well, you're being a responsible business owner and being a part of the community.
Yeah. Well, that's it. This is our forever community. Like we're renovating. There's an apartment on the 3rd floor. We're going to live there. Like this is our, when his 10 years is finally 10 years back home, we're moving. Like we're selling off our stuff and this is where we're going to come live. Awesome. So we don't want to go walking in and, kicking shins and spitting on people. Like it's the last thing we want to do.
I mean, I'd love to hear about it if you did, but even still, that's very nice of you. But and devil's advocate part. So
sure.
Small town, and they have this place in their neighborhood where essentially their whole family tree and people they know have had these, I call them celebration of life kind of here. Mm-hmm. And, so-and-so's grandma just got a service here 2 years ago or whatever. And then, some out-of-stater comes in and they think they're going to, tell us how to live. And they start painting these pictures that aren't the truth.
Sure. Yeah.
And where they cross the line, obviously, is like not talking first off. Like, hey, I'd like to reach out. I came across your Instagram and I saw, which we're going to talk about, a Baphomet statue. Yep. And so they see the pictures. And they start painting this picture that the devil is moving into Mullens. Well, yeah. What do I do? Mm-hmm. So can you explain kind of that picture? And for those who don't know, Baphomet is essentially the devil,
the satanic. I forget who made it. There's a story behind it, but it was adopted by the Satanic Church as their idol. It's their Buddha, it's their crucifix, it's their, whatever any other religions have. So I certainly I understand that. But we were cherry picking to be sure. Because the crucifixes weren't shown, and if me selling a Baphomet statue, which I actually had 5 of them, she's accused me of having one. There were 5, and I have heads I've mounted. There's many more, but anyways, if having that makes me a Satanist, you have to also know that I am Jewish, Christian, Hindu, Muslim. You can literally go down the list because I've yet to find a population of people with a set of beliefs that do not experience death. So, I have stuff. It's all around. It's all has to do with paranormal and the afterlife and all that stuff.
Sure.
So, but they cherry picked the Baphomet and, which I like the Baphomet heads, I think. And I had little baby ones, like see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, the cutest little Baphomet statues. And they were like, when they cartoon like Spider-Man, they make Spider-Man baby. It was like that. They made Baphomet babies and they were adorable. And so and they were for sale. So I made a little TikTok on it. And she's like, you thought the Baphomet was cute. And I'm like, yeah, they were adorable. Those little, the big ones I'm not down for, but.
Well, and that's what, and like I said, Christianity is great if you're using it to be a positive person in this world, but they see that one thing. And what I'm understanding, like they essentially co-sign that to mean like this is your belief system, but you're saying like paranormal world involves, like it or not, all of these things,
right?
All of these religions, all of these life experiences, and but of course it's easy because to someone who's ultra conservative Christian, they see that and it's shocking to them. And they're like, oh, okay, well, there it is. That's what we need to get behind. We need to rally the troops and start being public about this. So you start getting a bad rap on social media.
So, yeah, somebody had posted something. Obviously, I don't know anybody down here.
Sure,
so the Dogwood Festival was kind enough to share my post about my things, like I'd asked them to, and they did. And they were lovely, gave me all the help I needed, answered all my questions. And like I said, the people in town hall, the same way. But I had noticed, some people started asking questions on the Dogwood Festival post, which is perfectly fine. And, I responded to a few of them. And, I said, yeah, I understand your reservations, because they're like, you're capitalizing, you're going to come down and exploit our loved ones. And all I said was, listen, I'm advertising for a meet and greet. If you'd like to come down and, and see what we're all about and what my beliefs truly are and what my intentions are, what we're going to do. I'm an open book. Come on in. We'll be here this night. We'll be here this night. We opened the doors. We said it was going to be for an hour. We opened the doors. I think that first night we were there for 3 hours, because we weren't going to kick anybody out if people were still coming and had questions. The second night was a little shorter. It was about 2 hours, but that was the night that the fireworks and stuff were going to go off. So people had wandered off a little earlier.
Sure. Yeah.
And, but they saw that post. So the conversation started on that. And, then it was, oh, I don't need you to educate me. And I'm like, I never said I was going to educate you. I said, if you were curious on what my intentions were, you can come down and ask me. Yeah. I'm open to talk to anybody and, and address your concerns, because I understand the concerns. If I went someplace and saw that something of my dad's was being used for something funky, I would blow a gasket.
Sure. For
sure. I mean, and I didn't bring one. I on my waivers, when you come in, because you have to sign, a liability waiver for investigating it, because when I say they left everything, they left everything. Everything. So,
like spirit wise, you're talking?
No. I have credit cards and social security numbers that I shouldn't have, that we are destroying.
Right.
And we're fine, because the file cabinets were all full. I mean, these people are deceased. I'm assuming the social security numbers, but I don't know. Like I have information I shouldn't have, and like that kind of stuff. And there's stuff around. There's just stuff around the building. And on my waivers, it very distinctly says, if you see a name that is not associated with either Tankersley, was it Fogelsong? I think Sam Fogelsong was the other funeral name that's there. Like, that's cool. You can say, yeah, it was the Tankersley, or it was a Fogelsong, or it was whatever. But if you see something with somebody's name and a date on it, like because there were misprinted headstones that were left there, none of that is to be put on film and to be put on. Nothing is to be made public, because I would be mad if it was my loved one.
Sure.
Because I can't control how somebody, when they rent it for a private investigation, I can't control what they're saying and filming and doing. So,
yeah. Well, if I'm the city, I feel like I need to digitize this stuff in case there's a true crime case that opens up. It's like, hey, I wonder if like so and so was buried in Mullens around this time, those records. Some
of it's already been gone up in flames.
Sure, yeah.
I don't want, what I mean? What am I going to do with it?
Sure, no. I mean, it's a liability, and which, I mean, people are dead, but at the same time, having sensitive information like that,
that's the stuff. I mean, and most of it's in my office. We found where most of it is. So most of it's inaccessible.
Right.
The filing cabinets that are in, but I know there's like other filing cabinets with older stuff. I mean, we're going back. There's stuff from the 80s. There's stuff, so it's like that have upstairs and in storage. But if it's to be digitized and that should have been the funeral homes.
I mean, yeah.
It's not my
I mean, we were not. And, I don't know about this place, but we were not the best record keepers, previous 2000s at all. I'd say there's a lot of those file cabinets around the county.
So, in 2001, the file cabinets on the first floor were also underwater.
Oh, so, wow. Were they?
Because when they had the big flood down there in 2001.
It got flooded.
That was, we asked about that, because it's funny. The realtor, he's a good guy, and I get why, but I kept asking. I'm like, because it's literally, there are flood pictures when you Google on Google Maps, when you Google Mullins, the first picture is a flood picture. So, and we had already done our research before we drove all the way down here to see the building and to see the town and meet people. So we knew it was there. And I'd asked the realtor, I'm like, how much water was in this building? And he's like, this is not in the flood zone. I'm like, I get that, but I know, right. I know that it flooded. And
there was a line on the wall above my head.
Yeah.
Like,
and he well, no, because they cleaned it all up very well.
Good deal.
But, I'm like, I know it was here. You're not spilling any beans or telling me something that's going to scare me off. I still drove 12 hours for a building I knew was underwater.
Right.
So, but when we met up, my husband met the handyman that had used to take care of the building for Tankersley. And we asked him and he was honest with us. So there's about 4 feet of water in there. So everything on the first floor. So I'm sure they lost a bunch then.
That's rookie numbers.
Yeah.
In this neighborhood.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. We've seen some stuff.
I'll never forget the time we stayed down in Matewan. The campground was technically in Kentucky.
Right.
And the tug was super high. And I remember they had they closed the flood walls in Matewan. And I'm like in a little camper up there. I am panicking. I'm in I couldn't sleep that night that the tug was high. I'm like, we're on the wrong side of the wall. We're on the wrong side of the wall. We're on the wrong. And I'm like flipping out. And my husband's like, we're way up this hill, up on, he's like, look at this embankment. Look how high we are. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a lot of water funneled into a little passage and it's got to go. I'm like, look how high the flood. Why did they build the flood wall that high?
Have you seen the lines on the wall? On the flood wall? I mean, it got
I know.
Up there.
Well, I then saw that flood. That was the flood that hit more Kentucky. I forget what year it was, but Kentucky got hit hard that year. And then that same campground, I saw pictures of it a year ago. I think when the floods came, the last year when Williams, I remember seeing the
February
around the hospital, the wall around the hospital, and that same campground up on that high thing, their campers were floating.
Oh yeah,
some people's rigs were underwater. I'm like, so that would have been in my kitchen, and like I still would have gotten out of bed and sloshed around on the floor of my camper. So don't tell me we're up high enough.
I drove through, let's see, I think it was 2016 flood. You realize how small you are when you drive next to the tug when it's up, because it's like, whoa. Because, I mean, it'll raise 20 feet and you're like, I didn't know this was possible. And it's like level with the road, and then stuff starts getting crazy when that happens. So I get it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It was up. It was up. Like we couldn't go into Matewan if we wanted to, because we couldn't get there. But thankfully our campground stayed dry.
Did you see the Sid Hatfield cemetery plot? That was on the Kentucky side.
No. Oh, wait. Yes, no. No, not Sid Hatfield. No.
Okay. Devil Anses is in Sarah Ann,
yes.
West Virginia.
So we went there a couple years ago. I hear they've made it a little easier to get up. But I just had a knee replacement surgery over the winter.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. I'm still hurting, but we're not there yet.
Right.
But I couldn't, this was I couldn't make it up. I got about halfway up and I'm like, I'm fat, and I'm like, it was a show all around, because I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now, and everything. Like, I was a disaster. So
you lost 100 pounds?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I wanted to get it off. Oh, I cheated.
I mean,
I'm diabetic. I'm light. Diabetic light.
Type 2?
I learned that. Yeah.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
when the first time you said diabetic light, I laughed hysterically on one of your podcasts. I was like, yes, that's it.
Still diabetic though.
So,
I mean, your pancreas still sucks. It just kind of sucks.
I'm good now since I've lost the weight. And I've adjusted my my eating habits, and just one little 4-minute night gets me.
Heck yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah, we're doing okay. But anyway, so I wanted to lose the weight for that and to get the weight off before I had the knee surgery. So anyways, I was a mess at that point though, because this was pre all of that. And I handed my husband the camera and I said, here, can you go up there and take. I just put it all on automatic for him. I was like, just whatever you see, just take pictures. And my favorite picture, surprisingly, wasn't Devil Ance's headstone. He saw another headstone that he absolutely fell in love with. And that was that I actually, like, I had that on a print for sale. It was so cool because it was all handmade. It's, this cross, and it's like carved. Like somebody put like plaster around,
nice.
Cement on the front of the wooden cross or something, and like carved it. It's just, and then the moss on the ground underneath, and the shading and the light coming through the trees. It was just beautiful. I'm like, yep, that's it.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So
takes time for it to look that good.
Yeah, I love cemetery. And I'll get up there. I will get up there one of these times. So
good deal.
Now that I'm a little more able to move around and.
Yeah. Well, good. And on the Facebook drama too, I thought you handled it really, really well. And it's an impossible task trying to convince someone via text.
Oh, for sure.
Trying to debate and say, let's understand each other. Because, when you're in person, you'll say stuff online that you would never even think. I mean, people will say stuff to you that would never say to you in person.
No, I'm the complete opposite, though.
Right.
I will say it to your face.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, majority of these people.
And it was my husband going, babe, play nice. Play nice. Remember, this is I'm like, I know. Yeah. Because I had it before, not as bad, but when I had opened a haunted emporium.
Okay.
Up in Massachusetts. It was unfortunate. It would have done better in a different location up there, but we happened to own the building. Yeah. So, and our tenant had moved out. So we were like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And it's a quiet little town that it was in, which was nice. I enjoyed that part of it, but I didn't have the through traffic to to get what I needed.
So you were experienced at this point. You're like, okay, well, I'll try the playbook and just be honest and try to talk to people. And that was, I thought you did really good. And it's unfortunate people, like, I wish people would take you up and try to seek understanding, but it's essentially on their side of things, like, they're probably the type of person that any type of spirit is the devil. Any type of spirit that's trying to talk, or it's the devil trying to convince you that something's going on. There's all these are hard-grained beliefs that are essentially like Teflon that you're not going to get through to. And
sure, and I don't want to, I don't want to change, and I don't want to change anybody's beliefs. I'm not. So I was raised Christian. I was raised Catholic. My mom did her due diligence all the way through till confirmation. And the priest said, you got 10 minutes to tell me why this is the religion you want to be confirmed into. And I said, you got 10 minutes to explain to me why it's the right one. I'm like, there's so many options, even within the Christian faith. I'm like, I don't know. And I will never stand up for something that I don't fully believe in. And I didn't know that was right. It's not that I necessarily didn't believe in God at the time or didn't believe any of the teachings. And I think most of the teachings are great. Being kind to others. I mean, not suffering a witch to live kind of hurts my feelings now a little bit, but I don't call myself a witch, but I am pagan, and that is the belief system.
Okay,
I am very much of the nature of the earth has spirits, and your demons are my elementals. They're still there. They're still the same thing. We just look at them very differently.
We had a pagan on before. So this is I totally understand.
So and I'm not practicing or anything. Honestly, I'm too lazy for any of that. I really am. No, right. for sure. I am a very, the minimum. I am a lazy person where my husband's like, go, 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 go. And so we drive each other crazy sometimes, and that's always fun. But anyways, I get it. And I'm not looking to change any religion because I don't even know if my religion is right. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm fully convinced that all of us in this entire world, we are all going to be surprised at how wrong we were when we cross over. But who am I to tell you have to, I can't tell you what you're going to believe in any more than I can tell you better love spicy mustard. I don't care. Everybody needs to, you can't tell somebody that.
Oh yeah, no.
Your feelings are your feelings. Your beliefs are your beliefs.
And that's kind of what I lean on. I appreciate the fact that it does good in your life. I personally and to be honest, I may critical think to my own demise sometimes, because I walk through, I'm like, okay, well, all of these tenets are great. And then you get to where, like, but you gotta not like people because of who they are and how they were born and how, that's when you lose me. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, it tangibly doesn't make sense. So I can't co-sign for something if I don't fully represent what you're trying to represent, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I would be lying. And I think that ultimately, if this is the case, God would be like, well, you were lying like the whole time. You didn't really believe the whole thing, right? I can't do it. So I'm kind of the same way, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'll wander through life. I'll try to find belief in like spirits and stuff happening, have good conversations, take care of people, take care of my neighbor, be a nice person, and hopefully I'll get in on a technicality, whoever it is. That's kind of what I look at. And I know people sitting there saying like, no, you gotta believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross, and you got to do all this stuff.
So
and he probably did.
I do believe Jesus was a real person,
sure,
that he was crucified. There's too much documentation of it.
Right. Yeah. Right? I believe it.
So
too.
I totally believe Jesus was real, and I just don't think he was the son of God. You know what I mean? Because I don't believe in that God.
Yeah.
So, but on that flip side, I also don't believe in Satan. So it's humorous to me, like, people like back home when they call me a Satan worshiper, it doesn't bother me. I don't care, because they're so used to. I mean, well, we're with Salem, we're like the mecca of witchy woos. So
which I love Salem.
Yeah, we're very used to it, and like it's a very liberal, way of thinking up there, and some of it's great, some of it's not so much, but they're very accepting, and they'll, and I've got a friend, actually, the man that sold me the building, sold my husband and I the building that I had my store in, after I put my store in it, wouldn't come in because he saw the Baphomet statues too.
Oh, okay.
But we're still, we're super good friends. Like,
even me as an agnostic person, I see that and I'm like, oh, that's a little too far.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
But at the same time, I also can admit to myself, like, I don't understand many things, and I can't not understand Christianity, or I can't be like not understanding a religion when this is a religion too. And from what I understand, that, like, and it's not one you co-sign for, like you said, but from what I understand, it has a lot to do with nature, and it doesn't even really have to necessarily do with being now, I'm sure there's some sect out there that's like, we're anti-Christianity.
Yeah, there's for sure. I mean, there's the Church of Satan in Salem. I don't know if you saw it when you were up there. Right. There's like, it's a real thing, and they firmly believe. And it's funny because some of them are like some of the nicest people you'd ever meet. It's not, they're not out, eating babies and sacrifice. Sure. Are there crazy cults out in the woods doing wacky shit all over the world? Yeah, there are. Trying to do evil stuff. Absolutely, because there is good and there is evil out there. It's out there. It's just, I think I look at it very differently, but I can see the parallels. So my elementals are like your angels and demons, and I think, and they are of the earth, and they are of the spirit, right? So the way I look at it is, an elemental, you don't mess with it. And those, I think the elementals are what were then taken and turned into the demonic entities, right? It's like an energy force that, say, lives in a mountain, right? And I'll do it down here as best I can.
Dumb it down for sure for me. No,
but for here, it's, so you got an elemental that's like an earth spirit that's maybe living in the mountain, and then you come along and you strip mine it. Well, now you've just messed it up, and now it's going to be angry. Are they going to, elementals, I think, will never bother you if you don't bother them. Like when you strip mine, or when you, contaminate the water, or when you, and I'm not knocking like down here, because we don't obviously know strip mining, but we're plenty contaminated back home too. So I'm not trying to knock on any of that.
And it's the bag companies that, you can do it correctly, but there are
Yeah,
sketchy
every
things that
area
go
has
on.
their struggles
Sure.
with the good, bad, and the ugly of companies coming in and mucking up the land.
Sure.
But if you anger them, it's just like, could you imagine if I, walked into your living room and started taking a knife and just cutting apart your sofa? What would you say to me?
I'm like, man, I don't have insurance on my.
No, but you just going to let me go ahead or are you going to try to get me out of your house?
Yeah, it depends on what I got around to throw. I don't know.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy. Yeah,
but
I know
that's
what you're saying.
you know
though.
what I mean. It's like you upset something, and this could be.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere, and it could be. And elementals don't necessarily have to be just in the land or just in the water or just in. They can be wherever they want. And because I have no control over them. These are beings that have been around since the dawn of time. Who am I? And then, I mean, can you contact them and try to work with them? You could. I wouldn't. I would. That would be a last resort for me, for sure. If somebody wronged me just bad enough, because I am vengeful and I am petty, and I have no shame, no shame in my game. I don't care. But yeah, it's just.
No, yeah, it makes sense. And I go in, like, I'll tell jokes in these places just because I believe that spirits laugh.
The spirits are
I don't
us.
want to disrespect them, though, like you're saying.
Most of them are us, though, but those are the elementals we're talking about. What about the people spirits, right?
Okay.
That's just the way I see it. And I mean, it's funny, like our whole group of friends, we all have a different outlook on everything, and it's fine. Like we can all get along having different... I draw the line at any religion that says you need to kill another religion, that those that don't believe need to be put to death. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, I have no respect for if that's where you are.
Well,
but
it has started all wars essentially.
Exactly. I do not like organized religion. I feel like when we cross over and we finally see what it's all about, we're going to realize we are all one big conglomerate. Mm-hmm. Not that we're not individuals, but we're all going to be together somewhere, on the other side. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, you cannot cage that energy. So it's not like you go and cross over and can't ever come back. But there is a difference between spirits stuck on earth, human spirits stuck on earth, and human spirits that go and come and go and come, that they know they've already gone, they've seen, they know. I also believe in reincarnation. So there's a little tidbit on that.
Hey,
too.
I love it.
So
let's go. I hope that one's cool. Like if I come back as a human, can you come back as a dog?
I don't know.
Like dogs.
I haven't done it. I have. So I don't think we don't remember it each time. So right. I can't answer. Gotcha. I could make something up, but I could never tell you the truth on it because I don't know the truth.
No past life regression.
I'll figure it out when I die. I'll come haunt you and I'll send you. I'll write on a mirror. I'll tell you.
Please do. Because I need to know. I need to know these things. But it's not going to be for a long time.
I hope so. That's the plan. That's the plan.
Well, cool. Yeah, and the relatability too. Like I firmly believe we all have relatable qualities, and there's two things that kind of block that. It's religion and speaking a different language. Mm-hmm. And when someone speaks a different language, we have this incapability.
Yes.
To understand. And, that's where I believe like we need to turn off the podcast and listen to music more, because music is that thing that everyone can get, makes you feel a certain way.
I love music.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, Bonnie, we laid out some satanic panic. I want to know why this place, like when you went to this place, what was your opinion on what you all were walking into? Because I'll say this too, like, here was my thing I ultimately came down to. What else are you going to do with it? That's not where the people are buried. We had our service there, which is great. Why not keep this alive in a way that acts like a conduit, potentially, if you believe that way?
I love if somebody, my greatest joy, honestly, like I love the paranormal on it. Like that's obvious. But my greatest joy is when somebody is grieving and I can somehow give them a little bit of hope or just something to hold on to and a little bit of light or help them in whatever direction they want to go in, because I don't care. Like if somebody wants to make contact, I'll try to find the right person for them. Or if somebody, like she doesn't judge anybody, religion wise either. So, and we can let her tell it, but she's got a multifaceted belief system as well.
I love the way you put that. Like if I had someone who had a service there, like, if I had a grandparent or something, how cool would it be just to walk in here and
even that.
It still be here.
Not even that, but just somebody saying, I lost so-and-so a couple years ago and I feel like they're not with me, or sometimes I feel like they're with me, but I don't know how to reach out, and like that kind of, giving them the tools for that. I don't recommend doing it within the first year of somebody passing, because they've got to get their stuff all in order, and you're in the, in the depths, throes of grief. I've only actually ever had a woman once not take my advice and bought some equipment from my store after her son had passed away. It was like recent, like within a month. And I'm like, just so you know, because she has no training on it, no nothing. And I'm like, you were setting yourself up for false positives that you don't know how to read, or I'm like, I would really like you to wait a little bit. But she was dead set. I am buying this now and I'm taking it home and I'm using it. I'm like, all right, you're a grown adult.
That's me. Yeah, I went to Ghost Stop and just bought a bunch of crap that I don't know how to use. And I'm like, well,
I can teach you how to use it.
Here you go, Adria. I'm the jokes guy. I'm just like I'm going to tell jokes, and then, I'll bring professionals and they can actually do the serious stuff and I'll react to it. But all right, Bonnie, take me through this structure. I'm looking at it. We walk in. What were your first thoughts?
My first impressions when I walked in was I could feel a lot of the emotions that are held in that space, very sacred emotions. There's sadness, there's love, there's joy, there's all kinds of just very human emotions stored in the energy there in that building. So I didn't feel anything negative or, contrived in any way, shape, or form. It's not about that at all. I felt it even more strongly when the people came to visit for the open house that you had. Yeah, I was there for that, and I saw, I met both groups of people that came in, and some of them were really charming. There's this little old lady I'll never forget.
Before you tell about her, though, you got to set it up from the night before, because she came on the second night. The night before, no, we didn't tell anybody during the dogwood that Bonnie was a medium.
Mm-hmm.
And she...
You can't just lead with that. So, you're like, all right, we'll get him in.
We had, because I didn't have the liability insurance yet or anything. So we had our front doors. I made a horseshoe of chairs in the lobby, and she and I sat at the very back. So you couldn't get into the building really. Mm-hmm. And at one point we were because we were blocking a walkway. And at one point, she was looking at her phone or something, and
I was looking at the SLS.
Oh, the SLS. She was looking at something.
What's that?
Down.
The camera.
Okay.
They see the little people the little stick figures.
Gotcha.
But she had moved her legs over. But I thought you said you had seen with your own eyes a man walk by.
You were outside talking to someone, and I was adjusting the camera. I was sitting in the building by myself.
But she had thought somebody had come from behind.
I thought someone was still in the building, and they walked by me, and I kind of moved over to get out of their way because my chair was a little bit in the way. I kind of scooted over, but I was focused on this over here, and I saw, some like brown trousers and brown shoes walking by me, and I was like, oh, excuse me, and I was going like that, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm in here by myself. So when Heather came in, I told her about it. And then the next night, this group of ladies came in, and they were all talking about, their stories and stuff. And one of the younger ladies was telling a story about how she saw in our building the same thing, an upper torso of an apparition. And I thought, well, maybe that was I saw the bottom. Yep. You saw the top.
She did the finger point, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, there's somebody standing between the two of you. So I was like, great. Can you tell me what color his shoes are? Because I wanted her to hear whatever that woman had to say. And she said, I don't know. He's only there from the waist up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, okay, we got the other half. I couldn't tell you who it was. But it's.
But the feelings, so cool. Like I said, the feelings in there are very human.
Right.
There's a lot of humanity there. And I was trying to tell, when people were talking and they were asking about, what we felt about the place and stuff like that. I didn't say, well, I can see a little bit more than some or feel a little bit more than some, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the thing was, I mean, the history is always alive. It doesn't die. It's energy, just like everything else. It continues. All right. So it can be in one parallel space in one time and in another parallel space another time. How I found out in Tewksbury. Okay. It's like, we're here today, gone tomorrow. Like, where am I?
Right.
But I'm sensitive to that. So now when I walk through the building, it's like I can feel the mountain like breathing. I can feel the coal mines. I can feel the spirit of the people. How did I put it? Carved their lives out of the mountains. That's what I said with that second group that came in. I said, that energy is here. And I think when you mention conduit, that's exactly how I see it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. When you open for the paranormal, like when you open yourself up to all that, I think the surroundings, like they just come, especially if they haven't been spoken to in a while. They'll find you. They will seek you out. And it's funny because I think we have a couple of this is only on a few months that I was here last summer, but we have a couple, I believe, resident spirits. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think there's anybody that had services. I mean, they might have had a service there, but I don't think, like, we go back to the people, places, and things we love. We don't go back to our corpse is useless to us at this point. We don't go back to where the way, like, their loved ones aren't there. You know what I mean? They're out with their people and places and things. Maybe they're out sitting on the top of a mountain watching a sunset. Maybe they're watching their grandkids, do a school recital. They're doing their thing. I can't contain or hold anybody. But then I also feel like there's a ton of transients. And I don't mean to say that in like a negative way. Mm-hmm. But if you imagine, I mean, the next block over, there was a whole other city block there. And in 2001, they ended up ripping that entire block down because of the flood. Well, if there were spirits in there, where did they go? They can go wherever they want, of course. But if they're just like milling around town, and that's what they like, they just like to be downtown, like they come through. We've had the craziest conversations with some of the spirits in there, and they're different. They're different groups. They'll come through every now and again.
Yeah. I got a picture of it here. I love the sign up front. What all work did you have to do to the place when you moved in? That's
a touchy subject. Well, no, when I moved in, no, they were fair because, the asking price, we lowballed them because they didn't include any of the roof needed to be replaced.
Oh, okay. That's a big expense.
And there was the whole of the upstairs apartment was not in the listing pictures, but we knew it was there. So we knew we were walking into something, like it's obvious. So when we saw how much damage that it was going to need a whole new roof, we just, we lowballed that. And like I said, it was some conglomerate in Georgia. So they took us. We were like, listen, cash, no inspection. We know the building's got issues, but we were willing.
And anyone could have bought it.
Oh, anyone could have bought it.
Yeah. So that's my thing is you go through Welch, for instance, love Welch to death, love it so much, grew up there. So many empty buildings. Mm-hmm. And I think there's two tiers here for me. For one, I love spirits. Two, what a blessing it is for someone to take this on that the taxpayer isn't going to pay for, that they are going in, they're putting up risk of doing this thing in small town West Virginia to rehab this place that has so many special memories to everyone around. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, because just for a roof, I mean, eyeballing it, I mean, what, 20 grand? I don't know. Like, I mean, a roof is going to be a lot of money, like 20, 30 grand. I mean, who knows?
The first quote we got was 50.
Okay. Yeah.
We didn't go with them. Because that was a lot.
So it's a big expense. I mean, this stuff costs a crap ton of money. And if you can't do I'd say a lot of it you did yourself. But when you're finding contractors to do a roof, I mean, we're not roof specialists. It's a lot of money.
It's tough. And I think the hardest part where my husband felt like a fish out of water is because he's a welder. He owns a welding company.
Right.
He knows you want an electrician, you need a plumber. He can get you 10 in any field you want that he would trust. And he'll tell you, This is the guy you want if you're building something new and you want it done pristine. This is the guy you want if you're going to want to, somebody to crawl in the mud, going to take a job that he's going to, get gross on, or,
Sure.
He'll tell you the idiosyncrasies of all the different people too, so that you go in open-minded, and he knows who to pick for himself. Like I've never hired a contractor for my house. We call a friend for everything.
Sure.
As Bob gets called, by his friends. So coming down here, he's a fish out of water. He doesn't know anybody. And so it was hard just having to go on personalities.
Oh, let me tell you, you're rolling the freaking dice.
Oh,
when
we
you're picking
rolled
a
the
contractor
dice.
down here.
We did. I'm going to refrain from going into details. My husband called me this morning and said, don't talk about it.
Sure. Yeah.
But he,
Listen.
we're probably going to end up in court.
Well, here's the thing.
This way I think.
And there's good contractors. I'm not like
absolutely.
here too, but there's a lot of the contrary, and I've called them out before, and I won't. It's been a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I can imagine coming from Massachusetts, you're like, all right, well, let's have a good conversation with somebody, see if they know. We think they know what they're talking about, and it can go south.
So my husband, the gentleman that he hired seemed lovely, and he went with him, and he seemed like he knew what he was doing, and my husband, I didn't meet this man until just the other day, because the damage when we bought the building was only on the 3rd floor, and it was contained up there.
Sure. And
the damage now goes all the way down into my entire office got ruined. I'm throwing away printers, iPads, everything, all my work gear, all my everything. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. We
won't go into details.
No.
But
I'm not going to say who, but
a majority of people listening probably have been there, because it's hard. It's definitely hard.
So I met with another gentleman this morning who came, and he was nice enough. He was the one. He was extremely sweet, because we had him come out and look at it, and we turned him down, and he was still willing to come back down and take another look at what it looks like now, and see what it really needs to be done. And he's still willing to fix the mess that was made. So, and it is it is. And I know, like, when we first bought the building, we were trying to get the internet hooked up to put all the security cameras up. And the last company, the first day we tried to do it, the Dollar General truck backed into the pole and took the power out to the entire downtown.
Nice.
So that guy,
that's the most West Virginia thing to ever happen.
The guy that works for Frontier,
right.
He's like, I'll run up my buddies up the hill. I'll go get a generator. We'll get the power on so I can at least get your thing hooked up. And I was like, because first off, nobody would offer you that back home.
Right.
Second, I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for somebody's generator. And I'm like, after you set this up, I have to hook up all these cameras. I'm like, we can't do that anyway. So let's not bother your buddy. I appreciate it. And then I came back down a week later by myself when the power was back. And the power came back pretty quick, but I made another appointment with Frontier and got another guy out, and only to find out that the funeral home never turned their internet off. So, and he said, we can't disconnect it. We're not allowed to just turn off internet because of possible liabilities if they need it for, and I'm like, but they're not even here.
They're just have the bill on auto pay?
They must have. Yeah. Along with the lease for the printer that was, the copy machine that was there. But yeah, so we just,
So it's an ongoing thing.
It's an ongoing thing, but we knew, we knew it was an ongoing thing from the beginning.
Sure, yeah.
I
made a joke with Trans-Allegheny. I was like, opening a paranormal spot's pretty easy. You just buy a place and not do shit.
Oh, that's funny.
But that's quite the contrary.
Funny. Yes, until last our big event, our last event of the season last year, Appalachian Ghost Tours came over, and it was wonderful. They did a big event. The night before, we had a plumbing issue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was beside myself screaming. My husband, it's funny. He came up with this when we were doing our camping thing. Cause you can hear people inside campers because the walls are very flimsy.
Oh yeah.
And whenever I would get mad, I would just go inside and get away from everybody. He's like, you sound like a wet hornet banging around in there. I'm like, I feel like a wet hornet. So that's what he likes to call me. And I'm in, just my mouth. And I did teach preschool for a little while, so I can keep it in check. But yeah. Anyways, that's a whole other tangent, but
no, that's cool to look in the inner workings. All right, Bonnie, have you ever experienced you told me about that experience early on, but kind of what's the layout of what kind of areas are there more certain spots that are more hot spots than others, or what's the general vibe?
Well, I would think that any team that goes in there will probably have different experiences just because of the energy that we all bring with us when we get together to do these things. And spirits are really interesting. They're just like people. I always say, ghosts are people too.
Mm-hmm.
They find their ways in and their ways out, connecting with different individuals or with different pieces of equipment, any of that. But the most energy I feel are in the gathering areas. I would say the big room, the viewing room,
chapel room, yeah.
Okay,
the chapel room, and the one that's adjacent to it where you have the table set up.
Yes.
Is that a reception room?
That was a viewing room as well.
That was a viewing room as well. So that is where I feel the most energy. I know that in the back area where the equipment was left,
the embalming stuff.
The back rooms there's a couple of spirits in there. I think one is a little boy and the other is an older woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe had lived in that space at some point in time, not necessarily connected with this building here, but just maybe there was something else there at the time back in the day or whatever.
Multiple
I don't
buildings.
know. Yeah. So there's multiple tiers of different spirits and people. And then there's also the mining situation, because I did feel that energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was local energy too that we felt. What was that night where I kept saying that name and we didn't know what it was about? And then Emmy looked it up.
Yeah. So, I've met a few people from that family since then, so I don't want to say the name.
Okay.
But we kept she thought it was a profession.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, and I said, well, it might not be a profession. I said, it's not quite right for down here. It would be a different word, not this one. So I didn't think I was going more that it was a name, and we found it. So
heck yeah.
And there's people around that I've met since that, but I'm going to refrain because I haven't talked to them about it. So I'm not going to talk about it publicly either.
That's
ahead
good
of
enough
time.
to set it up. And Coalfield Manor has a website.
I do.
Tell people where they can go and they can reach out to you all if they want to visit.
Oh, coalfieldmanor.com. All the information is on there. It's, just basically, it's just going to lead you straight down to an email to book. You just email me and we set up a day. So I do have a shop, but on my website, it's only a t-shirt and hoodie.
Cool. I
have a gift
staples.
Yeah, I have a full gift store. Because as you can imagine, I had Haunted Emporium when I closed. I boxed it all up and it needed to go somewhere. So I have, and fair warning, there's a Baphomet head hanging on the wall. But
don't judge Heather by the Baphomet.
Yeah,
Come on, get to know Heather. Let's go. But yeah.
So, but on the events page, I only have one event on there now. One that the first one I've put in for May is now I do have other events happening in May that you will find the information from Appalachian Ghost Tours.
Yeah.
So, because they're running another public investigation like they did last year. And they're going to do that May 9th. It's actually during the Dogwood Festival because the Dogwood Festival I thought was the weekend before. So I said, we'll just delay our opening a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they scheduled the Dogwood for the second weekend instead of the first one. So I had to call her and be like, hey, I'm wicked sorry. There's going to be fireworks and live bands and people. And she's like, well, gee, we're going to make the best. I mean, you know her. Pam.
Pam's great.
So, she's like, we'll make the most of it. So I already made my donation to the Dogwood for this year so that I told her, I said, do you mind if I walk around and just hand out, little flyers to tell people about the Appalachian Ghost Tours?
Sure.
Take advantage of it during the day. And,
shout out to the friends of the show, Appalachian Ghost Tours. And your email is coalfieldmanor@gmail.com.
Yep. Yeah.
And you can reach out to Heather and be nice. Okay.
Be nice.
Ask questions. Be nice.
I mean, you can be mean if you want, but I'll tell you privately, it's.
I don't think that. I don't think I want to.
You'll get a different me.
I don't want to match your energy with Heather.
No,
I don't.
I mean, I'm a hood rat from Massachusetts. It's not. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love it. Let's end this on talking about Salem. So I went.
Yeah.
And I think everyone that enjoys history and the paranormal, I think Salem's the best place I've ever went. Like, I love it. And it's nice to hear, or I don't know if nice is the word, but you have a contradictory opinion. It's very commercialized for you. And I described it as like, take Dolly Parton, make her a Hocus Pocus character, and then start a town like Pigeon Forge, and it would be Salem, Massachusetts. And it's so walkable, and I really enjoyed our trip there. But the comic book store is incredible.
I don't do comics.
Okay, well, it's the biggest place I've ever been in, and the guy was so nice. But anyway, we got an episode if y'all want to check it out. I did a walkthrough, like a walk around. We stayed in the Henry Derby house, which is like the second most haunted Airbnb in America. I don't know, on a bunch of lists. But what's your issue with it? We got to talk about it.
My issue with it is, and now you got to understand, obviously I don't have an issue with witches, and I love the TV shows, and I love the Harry Potter movies, and I love the Harry Potter books. I do not like Hocus Pocus. I have a firm, and it's actually a West Virginia reason why I hate Hocus Pocus and I refuse to watch it, or support it in any way. But yeah, it's just, the Tabitha from Bewitched is their statue. And it's like these people that were hung as witches were not even really witches. So the fact that we're doing witches, we're going on about witches in the first place is weird, but manageable. But now it's like commercial witches. Like you can go buy your wand. There's a wand shop, and there's from a Harry Potter wand. I'm not talking like a real like pagan witchcraft wand that they would use. Some Harry Potter type things, and it's just there is good there. Lori Cabot's place. I can't remember the name of her shop, but like she's the godmother of the god witch, or whatever you want to call her, the godmother witch, the fairy godmother of
what's her store called?
I don't remember what it was called, but her name is, if you Googled Lori Cabot, she's an Laurie, I believe. And Cabot Salem, you're gonna get her. And she is the lady.
Official website.
Yeah, pull her up.
All right.
Yeah, there she is.
All right, Lori Cabot.
Lori Cabot. She has been around Salem and the head of, up there for forever.
That's good to know. And there's some really good breakfast spots that I cannot think of the name of, but there's like the little hole in wall. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Was you the one who threw the red paint on the Bewitched statue?
I would never deface somebody else's property. Because
I was going to say, they did that out of a protest for the fact of like Salem, it was, essentially a false conviction.
Yeah.
Of how many? 12? Is it 12? I can't remember the exact number, but like they put people to death saying they were witches and they weren't witches. And I see what you're saying now of like, well, now it's a town of witches, but it started out of the fact of mass hysteria, which is kind of full circle moment.
Yes.
For you.
Yep.
Coming into Mullins.
I didn't even think of that.
So anyway, obviously we aren't that dramatic as the Puritan days anymore. Thank the Lord. But I see how it happened in a way. Like
I expected it. It's not that I never expected that I was going to do this and nobody was going to say a thing to me. Like I never expected that. And thankfully I have a pretty thick skin, but when the very first time it was made public, like she had shut the Dogwood lady, shut those comments down relatively quickly on that post. But the ringleader had, made a post with herself tagging.
Oh, nice.
She tagged, I think it was like almost 70 some odd people in the post. So we knew they were going to see it. And then she asked them all to share. Right. And this was the one where she was doing the Baphomet, going off on the pictures and saying I'm a Satanist and saying I'm doing all this stuff. And it wasn't. And at first I was like, oh God. First I was like, you get that sinking in the pit of your stomach. Oh my God, it's going to be this bad. It's worse than I thought. Like I was nervous and I was all through the emotions. And then I got angry. And that's where, thankfully she was with me too, because she came down for the dogwood with me. And that's when that post went viral. And so her post where she had tagged 50 people and had 75 shares. It was one or the other. Those were the two numbers, but it was just insane. So then I was angry because I'm like, because it was slander and it wasn't true. Like, I'm not a Satanist. I don't even believe he's real.
Sure. I could see it crossing like, well, we're kind of getting into it because you got a business and like.
Right. So I'm like, I don't mind if you are opposed to anything that I'm doing because fine. I'm probably not hunky dory with 100% of your life either. That's fine. But it's not my life to live. But when you lie about me, that's where I got. So then I started to get angry and. She knows me. My husband obviously knows me. And they're both going, just breathe. Because it was when I vacillate between trucker and pirate with my speech on a daily basis. And there is not a single word that I have a problem calling somebody. So we're and I also don't have a problem putting somebody in a jar and burying it.
No, yeah.
So, but anyways, leave that aside. But
what is that like? But what is that? Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing.
Okay.
It's a witchcraft thing. But
gotcha.
After I'm lazy, so you got to really get me angry to do it.
Right.
Because I'm not. To go through all that effort for I just.
Here's the thing. And I don't know who this person is. Would you come on the show if that person's listening and y'all have a conversation? How crazy would that be?
I wouldn't care.
Let's do it.
I don't have any I have no hate for her because I'll tell you, because when my anger and my true hate was done, I realized with the posts that she put out, now it's given a little hiccups, like when I had to go down and do the county paperwork over in Pineville to get, for my business and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had heard about it over there. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh yeah, we heard. I'm like, I'm not a Satanist, by the way. So that's how I introduced myself to everybody that I was giving the business information to and that they knew who I was. I'm like, hi, I'm Heather. I'm opening Coalfield Manor. I am not a Satanist. And that's how I greeted everybody.
That's how we're going to open the show. That's the opening line.
So, yeah, but after my anger with her, because I'll tell you, at that moment, I would have been perfectly happy to throw down. Like we would have gone and and tussled. But
it's frustrating. It's because you're spending so much money to get yelled at online.
Yeah, but honestly, it's not even. It's the money's.
Well, character.
We were buying a building down here, and I got lucky. Mm-hmm. I got lucky. We were eventually going to move down here anyway. I happened to find a funeral home with an apartment in it. Mm-hmm. I got my husband was not looking for a funeral home. He doesn't care that I have it. He likes it. He's great with it. But he's my skeptic. He knows, he's seen enough now that he can't deny everything, but he's still, I love having him because as soon as something happens somewhere, he's looking for the rational, non-paranormal source of whatever just happened. Which every investigator should, but he's like with the flashlight behind,
we need
looking
that.
Behind.
Let's be honest.
Oh, we do. Yeah. We do. And and not everything. And trust me, and even Bonnie and I working on a project, we will disagree over a piece of evidence, and it's fine. Mm-hmm. I tend to be more, I don't know. It just depends which way it goes. That she'll be like, yeah, I don't think that was this, or I'll be like, yeah, okay, if you think so, but it's fine. You have to have that open mind to everything because I can be wrong. I am not perfect, so I could get a piece of evidence and I have done it. I did it at Wilson Castle. We got up in the morning, one morning after we slept there, and I was trying to take a picture of a black dress that was in a closet. And we were so overtired. I had my camera on like that little little tiny pixel dot. I got the nice big, Canon, so it was focusing on the center of a black dress in a dark closet. It was trying to focus and it couldn't focus. And I'm like, look, my camera won't even focus. And I'm going over by the window and it's like, rattling off shots. And then it comes back and I'm like, but look, it won't take pictures. And that dress is like a creepy dress. After the fact, it's funny because that TikTok's still out there. My friend put it up and I'm like, leave it up. But after the fact, I'm like, oh my God. And we even posted in the TikTok, like, this is a time where you get duped by your own equipment. I had my focus down, my autofocus down so pinpoint in that black dress, in that black room, that dark, thing. It wasn't picking up, focusing on anything.
Yeah.
I had to adjust my widen my focus and then it was fine. But it was just it was so funny. So I'm not infallible. So who am I to ever tell anybody anything? About their experiences or what they believe.
Sure. Yeah. So. No. Well,
but to wrap up though,
sure,
my upset and then angry Arch, she gave me more publicity and she knows who she is if she's watching. She gave me more publicity than I ever could have done in that one post she put out. Because for all the people that jumped on the hate bandwagon, I had people coming in telling me that they were so excited and they learned about me from that round of all those shares and everything.
Sure. Yeah. And, if that person made it to 2 hours without turning it off, if you're listening, I think that may be the conversation that may change the world, is if you two people came in here and we all just sat down and said, here's my grievances. And then we just talk, because I think it would be so interesting. Because everyone in Mullins knows. Everyone in Mullins knows. I'll just say it. Everyone knows. Even if they don't tell you they don't know it, we're all like a sewing circle.
That's it. Well,
you know what I mean? We all know.
Yeah. That's what Crystal told us when we bought the building. We stopped into town hall to find out what the rules were for, moving into a building. Because in Massachusetts, when you buy a building, you cannot stay in it.
Right.
You might own it, but you cannot stay in it until they come and deem it worthy for you to live in. Yes, you have to have occupancy. You have to get an occupancy permit.
Oh, wow.
Or you can't stay there without an occupancy permit.
Well, here we're wide open. Buy the thing, do what you want.
Right. We didn't know. This is the things we didn't know. So we went down to the town hall to find out, because we wanted to do it right, know, especially since it's cross state and, it's a long drive. We just wanted to get everything done right from the beginning. And that was the first thing. Crystal is lovely. I believe she's a town manager down in Mullins, but welcome to Mayberry every time. And she's been a great source of help for us. But, of course she saw it too. And that's what she said. Welcome to Mayberry for the good and the bad.
Yeah. And listen, that's the majority. And I understand people being traditional and setting their own beliefs too. It ain't disrespecting them, but majority of people are just good old people, like live, let live. I want to get to know you, So I'll say it on behalf of everyone. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are glad to be here.
We are excited for you to be an official West Virginian after that 10 years is up.
I have some blood. I have some West Virginia blood.
Let's go.
I said, we found that's,
Well, listen, I was born in Kentucky.
That's still Appalachia, though.
There's so many people. Well, yeah. Ashland,
unless
Kentucky.
You were on the Mississippi. But
I was on the eastern side.
Yeah, so you were still.
But yeah, thank you all. Y'all check out Coalfield Manor. And I had your website up here, and I'll make sure I get it right. CoalfieldManor.com. How'd you come up with the name?
Well, so I didn't want it to be anything, I see some of these places that open up and they're like, this haunted or scare factor. I'm like, I don't. Because that's not what I do. Mm-hmm. I want the real paranormal. I don't want like any.
I love them both.
Yeah. I love haunted houses and stuff, but I don't there's no place for it in paranormal investigating. There's no animatronics. There's no sounds piped in anywhere. There's none of that. Because I want, if you want to get up, stick your head up in the vent and look to see if I put a speaker up there, I want you to find nothing. Right. And it's haunted anyway. So you don't even need to. But we've been talking about it and driving up and down, between going up to back. Lowe's. My husband has spent more time going back and forth to Lowe's.
Right. Yeah. Well, now we have the expressway.
We got intimately acquainted with the Coalfield Expressway. And I was like that. So I wanted a name that represented the region, not the paranormal, if that makes sense. Because I didn't want like, and that's why like even my logo, there's a ghost on it, but he's like, he's cute.
He's a cute little ghost.
He's a cute little ghost. You know, because I'm not into, trust me, I can go ghost hunting and get into the creepiest with the best of them. And I love it. But it should be at your level. It should be what you want it to be. Not, so I just didn't want to scare anybody off or have anybody thinking that, you know, they were going to come in and it was going to be,
being raw, you just put Baphomet right on the logo. I was like, you know what?
Well, I could have, my last logo, and I kept him, my last logo for my last store was, he's on sleep, was this guy. This is Carl.
What's up, Carl? I love it.
He's a little voodoo doll. So we kind of kept him still, but then, you know, voodoo-ish, but then I got I think I have a ghost somewhere. Anyways. But this is our Haunted Emporium the logo was black. Like it was much darker. It was that. But I don't know. I just wanted it to be something about it down here felt lighter and brighter. And I wanted it to
I think it's beautiful. You're weaving the culture into it and you're trying to keep it alive. So
and it's a funeral home. Like it was a funeral home. So I we'll throw some flowers on there too. And you know,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll be rooting for you. I hope.
You.
I hope we get to the time where that 10 years is up and y'all are here, just like
I'll be here.
Spitting tobacco.
I'll be here in 2. So I'll be here.
Okay, perfect.
Half the year until my son graduates.
Gotcha.
So and after this year, he's got 2 more years of high school, and then I told my husband, I said, "Listen, I'm not leaving you, but I'm leaving you."
Yeah.
And I said, you know, every other month you can come down. And then I can go up, and that way I can be open year round.
It's like a 12-hour drive.
It is a 12-hour drive.
Yeah.
And he can do it. He can do it straight through. He's, like I said earlier, he's an animal. He's a workhorse. I can tell you that the halfway point is right between Carlisle and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And that is, I have to cross that, but then I'll get a hotel anywhere past that and I'll break that drive up.
Yeah, we made it a full trip 2 times. I did it and then did it 4 days later. But yeah,
you went an hour past us where we have to go too. Up in Salem, you were my house plus actually probably an hour and a half. So
I was the only one that stayed up the whole time. That's for sure. There's a whole van of people. But well, cool, Bonnie. What are we plugging? Like,
what's that?
I don't know. Where can people read or watch your works or learn about your paranormal group? Or do you have any?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, Moonlight Paranormal Productions. That's pretty much it. I don't have a lot of anything right now. When we get the movie out and the book out, then things will be popping a little bit more.
Heck yeah, well, you have to come back.
I got to tell you though about her movie because she sells herself. She doesn't sell herself as well as she should. This
she's humble.
It started with an investigation, just an investigation. The library thought something was going on. So when you watch it, especially coming from production, you're going to have to give me a little grace because we weren't intending this to be a thing. No. So like the Estes session that she was talking about, we don't even have video of it. I had to take the audio and a blank screen and just switch their faces back and forth so the people would know who was talking.
Story's what matters.
Yeah. So it is a story, but we didn't know how deep it was going to be. So it's kind of, and it's all over the place. But if she does this for the library for free, right? We're putting it all together for free. And then she's going to give this movie to the library and they can do whatever they want with it. They want to just play it or if they want to do fundraising stuff or anything they want to do with it. It's theirs. And so it's the almshouse, not the library is only 20 years old, but it's on a historic location. Mm-hmm. And she's got other historic locations that she's working with too in different stages of process that she's going to put something together for them that they can then take and use for their fundraising. Mm-hmm. So everybody that does everything is volunteers. Mm-hmm. And like she's had 2 editors that couldn't see the whole thing through. And now I'm doing it.
Well, when you're done, let me watch it.
I'm getting very acquainted again with my Final Cut Pro. And I'm like, I don't remember.
I'm sure it's better than you think. So.
Yeah, I'll get it. We'll get it done. But at least now we know it'll be because it's been years in the process. But she does all this work and puts everything together, and then she went to the library and did speaking events for them about it. Her and Becky, because there's two other girls and there's one guy that we do a lot of investigating with. Al, we don't get him out too much. He's a firefighter. He's got a family and he's up to his elbows in it. But Becky and Emily are also do stuff with us. And Becky was there with her when she did the Estes, but
Yes.
she also went and did the presentation up there. So anything she can give back to help these locations, and some of the other ones are older houses,
right.
That they need a lot of upkeep. They're expensive to upkeep these old places. So she wants to put these movies together that they can then use how they see fit.
I think that's great.
And our only agreement and stipulation is that we are also allowed to show the movies at our events. Like we have it too, but they can, all the rights, they want to reproduce it and sell it, knock yourself out. However you want to use it to raise money.
Love it.
So
socials for Coalfield Manor.
Socials, I got them. Actually, if they go to coalfieldmanor.com, right across the top of my socials are all of my socials. My Facebook is where I publish most everything. Because, you can create events, you can share posts, and like I can share the Appalachian ghost tours stuff. So most of that stuff is there.
About to cross 1,000. Congratulations.
Am I?
Big hurdle.
Oh, yep. We've been counting it. It's getting there. And then I do have an Instagram. There's not much on there. Just kind of repeats advertising. I'm not like I'm running my specials and stuff. So then I do have a TikTok, which that's got even less, but that's the one where I'm going to do more when I open. I'll be able, if I'm bored and just sitting around with nothing to do, I can live stream and stuff from the TikTok.
And a YouTube channel.
I did set up a YouTube channel, but I've only got that one short. That was the very first EVP ever captured in the building.
Oh, nice.
So,
all in due time.
Yeah.
I think you're doing great.
Yeah. So we'll get it. It's fun.
Heck yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all being here. It's so nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I appreciate any help I can getting the word out.
I'm gonna visit. Yeah.
You have to come investigate. Bring people. Do it however you want to do it. Come on over.
Adra, if you're listening, we'll have to head to Mullins. And Rebel Smokehouse. Is that the name of it? What's the place?
Rebel's good. The Rusted Musket was the one that wants you to get in there. I promised them I'd tell you. So here I'm telling you.
We gotta do it up. We'll do it. We'll do the whole thing.
But I'll tell you that. Yeah, the Rebel. You can't go wrong either way. It's
good deal. Well, I love Mullins. One of my favorite places. Thank y'all. Everyone else out there. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to Creepalachia on YouTube if you haven't. If you're listening on Facebook or Apple, Spotify, I don't know, somewhere, leave a review. That'll really help the show be found. We are on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and we're doing fictional stories exclusively on Patreon now. So if you want to help the show there, get your name in the credits. It's a good time. And everyone else, always remember, be kind. Let's be kind. Understand each other and talk before you make that. I know when I call out scammers, I know a lot of things before I do that. I at least try to talk to them. So you all are pure in your intentions, and I'm looking forward to watching it grow. And everyone else, be sure to remember, above all else, long live Appalachia.